And welcome into Season 23, Episode number 1 of Laker Connections, your only place for all things Laker sports. I'm Ken Gerard, co-hosted by the loving Lucas McGarry and Mr. McGarry. It has been way too long since me and you both sat down at this desk, and a lot has happened in Laker sports over the past couple of months. First things first, how you doing?
Well, I am doing absolutely fantastic. The Lakers have had a fantastic year athletically as a whole. We're going to be talking about a lot of sports in this episode. We have a ton to catch up on. We have had a ton of success, but I want to talk really quickly about the success that my team has had. Oswego State Swimming and Diving. We got second on both the men's and women's side, so quick shout out to them. Nice job, all of you guys. That's how I've been doing, but I'm just ready to get back into Laker Connections.
Well, speaking of, let's get into it with the SUNYAC playoff hockey in full swing and the regular season now in the rearview mirror. It is time for the Wheelhouse Wire, where me and my pal Lucas will update you all things Oswego hockey from last weekend and next. Now, Lucas, why don't you start us off with how the men's hockey team did this past weekend?
Yeah, after going 0-2 against the Bengals in the regular season, the Oswego Lakers dominated the Buffalo State Bengals in the SUNYAC semifinals, securing a 5-2 victory to advance to the finals. Despite a scoreless first period, the Lakers controlled possession and outshot Buffalo 31-11, with goalie Brandon Milberg was seldom challenged in the goal, but also made key saves to keep the Bengals off the board. Buffalo struck first in the second period, however, but Oswego responded immediately with Brandon Cohen netting the equalizer before adding another goal to give the Lakers a 2-1 lead heading into the third. Oswego continued its offensive surge as Drake Semrat and Daniel Calabufo extended the lead to 4-1. Buffalo managed a late power play goal, but Ryan Burke sealed the game with an empty netter, securing the Lakers' place in the SUNYAC finals. And then we learned later that night it would be hosted at home.
We will get to what's coming ahead very shortly here, Lucas, but what a game it was. I mean, the Lakers go 0-2 on the season against Buffalo State Bengals, coming to the year at 55-4 and some change all time against Buffalo State, and ends at 55-6 or whatever it was. A large margin of victory for the Lakers' overall history against this Bengals team. And they maybe came in and thought thrice is the lucky one, and it just wasn't for the Bengals. And Oswego got the job done, Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, for the Bengals, you got to look at it. Just unfortunately, the saying goes, you can't beat a team 3 times in one season. It's very, very hard to do. And the Bengals, they had the Lakers' number in the regular season. But like I said in the press game conference that I talked about, I was a part of during the game, the Lakers have Ed Gosick, which I don't think people take into account how important he really is. He is such an insanely brilliant hockey mind. So I think for him, he absolutely does a great job moving that team on to the finals.
Absolutely, Lucas. Now let's look ahead to the women's team past weekend. So the Lakers secured the 1 seed in the last weekend of regular season against Cortland. While on the other side, the Canton Kangaroos secured the 4 seed with an overtime win thriller against the Mooresville Mustangs in their last game of the regular season. Now this set the stage for the SUNYAC semifinals right here in Oswego. The slow start for both teams, but the Lakers would take a 2-0 lead in the third period. The Roos were able to bury one with an empty net with time winding down to bring it to a 1-goal game. But the Lakers missed an empty netter, but were able to hold on and take the 2-1 victory over Canton. Now, Lucas, it was close. It was a close one for the Lakers, and now they get ready to face the Cardinals this Saturday. What are your thoughts on this close victory for the Lakers?
Honestly, a little too close for my liking when it should have been a little bit more of a margin. Not just on that missed empty netter like we talked about, which I was absolutely dumbfounded when that happened. That was such a crazy shot, went right off the sidebar, absolutely ridiculous. But I think for Oswego, that was a game to really just mentally prepare themselves for this playoffs. That was their first real test in the playoffs because they got that number 1 seed bye. So I think for them, they got the playoff jitters out in that game, which is very, very good, going up against a Plattsburgh team next that is sure to not have any playoff jitters.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the full screen, the Lakers outshoot Canton by quite a large margin, neither able in the power play. But the Lakers got the job done, so it's going to be a close one. But let's move ahead to the men's preview of the weekend. And some things change, and some things remain, as the saying goes. The Oswego State Lakers will host the Plattsburgh State Cardinals in the SUNYAC Championship Saturday at 7 p.m. Now, this one gives me a little bit of deja vu from the 2022-23 season, as the Lakers beat Buffalo State in the semifinals and go on to host the Cardinals in the championship game. And the Lakers are 2-0 against the Cards this season, same as it was that 22 and 23 season. This will be the 3rd straight season the Lakers meet Plattsburgh at home in the playoffs. Now, the Cardinals are 2-0 in those postseason matchups. Now, Lucas, with all the similarities in this one, what feels different for these teams this year?
I think what's different for the Lakers is obviously how new they are. They lost so many guys this past season, and they've really had to completely rebuild the team. And Ed Gosick has done a fantastic job doing that. Obviously, you see right here, Oswego, SUNYAC leading 4.35 goals per game. Or Plattsburgh right close behind them, 3.3. Very, very interesting matchup. And I think for both these teams, Oswego up 2-0 on the season for them. They've beaten Plattsburgh both times. So again, it comes to the question, can Oswego beat them a third time?
Well, it's been answered the last couple of seasons as a resounding no. The Lakers go up 2-0 in 2023 and 24, and now this year they had the season series and it comes to the playoffs. They come into the Deb and they beat the Lakers in an upset. So I'm excited to see how this one goes, Lucas, but take me ahead now to the other side of the Oswego-Plattsburgh matchup, the women's team.
Yeah, the Oswego State Lakers are gearing up for what could be considered the biggest day in whiteout history. Like you already said, both men's and women's team are defending the Deb against a tough Cardinal squad. But in Game 1, the women's team looks to continue their dominant run with a stellar 22-2-2 record, 15-1-2 in conference, holding the top seed and a number 6 national ranking. All eyes are on elite goaltender Lexi Levy as they face second-seeded Plattsburgh. The Cardinals boasting a strong 19-6-1 record, 14-3-1 in the conference, come into this game averaging less than a goal against them per game. They aim to spoil Oswego's historic season with both teams excelling defensively. A tight battle should be expected in this one.
Well, absolutely. The last time this matchup happened here in Oswego, it went to a shootout, and the Lakers took the win in the shootout. And it's going to be tough. I mean, it doesn't matter how good either squad is. I always think between Oswego and Plattsburgh, it's going to be a tight game. And you bring in that rivalry, and then you add that little depth of it being the playoffs. So, I mean, it's going to be a good game. I'm not going to make any predictions quite yet, but I think this one is going to come down to the wire. The Lakers are a team that can lead early on, and then as it gets into the later goings, Plattsburgh, as we have learned between the men's and women's team, are the comeback kids in the SUNYAC. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen later on in the game, but I think for the most part, the Lakers have a good chance of taking this one and finally hoisting up that SUNYAC championship. A weekend sweep would be nice for this team, but I don't know. It's a tough Plattsburgh team, Lucas.
It's very unreliable when you've seen the men do the same thing the past 2 years, and the women have never been in the situation, so very new opportunity and new situation for both these teams.
Well, that's going to do it for our A block and our Wheelhouse Wire. When we come back, it'll be time for the Zeal Zip. Stick around. You're watching Laker Connections right here on WTOP 10.
Would you like to try snacks from faraway lands? Or snacks with bizarre flavors? How about snacks in new ways? Or snacks you've never tried before? You don't have to go far to find these snacks. They can all be found here at Snacks on West 1st Street.
Yeah, we're walking around campus, and what do we see?
All these clubs are looking.
They looking for me.
There's hockey,
There's improv,
so much to see. So let's go try them out and see how they be. Come on and please watch.
Our embarrassments free. Tune in to Amateurs on WTOP.
Happy Friday, Lakers, and another beautiful day here in Oswego, New York. I'm DJ Don Perone, and I'm happy that you're starting your weekend off right listening to WNYO 88.9 FM, the Laker Radio Network.
I said, darling, can you see? There's no room for us. There's no room. Never lies are cheating. Promises keep slipping. And I've always knew it wasn't you. It wasn't you. Now our lives are cheating. Promises keep slipping. And I always knew it wasn't you. It wasn't you.
Welcome back into season 23, episode number 1 of Laker Connections, your only place for all things Laker sports. I'm Kenny Gerard, co-hosted by the lavish Lucas McGarry. Now,
Thank you for that, Kenny.
Lucas, well, the basketball seasons have come to an end. We have time for one last Zeal Zip to see how their seasons ended. Now, start me off with how the women's team season ended.
Yeah, the Oswego Lakers-Suniac playoff run came to an end in the semifinals against Cortland, falling short in a hard-fought comeback attempt. Despite scoring first, the Lakers quickly fell behind as the Red Dragons built a 9-point lead midway through the first half. Oswego struggled offensively, going scoreless for the final 4.5 minutes of the period, allowing Cortland to take a commanding 39-20 lead into halftime. The Lakers showed resilience in the second half, with Kenny Lazo sparking a rally at the 10-minute mark, followed by key plays from Gary McLean, Stephen Bradley, and Deacon Judd to shrink the deficit. Oswego fought back to within 3 points with 2 minutes left, but Cortland responded with clutch baskets and free throws to seal the game, ending during the Lakers' playoff run at SUNY New Paltz.
Going to break the fourth wall here. I might have said women's basketball.
Oh.
Men's basketball is what we were talking about.
I was a little confused there for a second, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decisive victory for Cortland last year. These teams met in the playoffs, and the Lakers narrowly took one at home. So, I mean, yeah, it's a revenge game for Cortland, and that's really all it is. Cortland has been excellent in many facets of the sports that they have at their school this year, especially against these Laker teams, especially in hockey and in basketball and, well, lacrosse, everything.
They are called Sportland for a reason.
They have been dominant.
Yeah.
So, not a surprise for me in this one. I think Cortland deserved that one. We said last year they're going to be a good team that could come back, and I think this year they've done a very good job at coming back. But Lucas, the Oswego State women's basketball team season did come to a close after a loss against the New Paltz Hawks in the SUNYAC semifinals. The game ended with a 66-58 loss to the Hawks. They took a win in the first round against Oneonta 59-54 at home, but were unable to finish the job on the road. So the Lakers look forward to next season now after a disappointing end in the playoffs. Now, Lucas, take me back on the season and what's ahead for them next season.
I think for the Lakers, they should be proud of this season. They did a lot better than I thought that they were going to do. This squad was very, very scouted, and they had a couple of players that everyone should be really proud of. Macy Diordio, you have Sydney Hefts, who are both graduating. You have Giovanna White-Principio, who got Player of the Year. All fantastic players. So I think for them, they went out, they tried their best, but New Paltz was just the better team. They've been the best team in the SUNYAC all year, so not the worst thing in the world. They are going to be back next year. They are always a strong team, and I think the fact that they have been in the playoffs the past 2 years after not being in it for a couple of years, they're only working their way up.
And you see the full screen there. They're leading in two of the stats. Their field goal percentage actually better than the Hawks, and the free throw percentage is better. But the thing that was the difference is the ability to shoot from beyond the arc, and the Lakers struggled with that all season long, and it came to bite them in the playoffs. You have to be able to shoot from downtown when you're in the playoffs, and the Lakers just not able to do that and bring this one home. But Lucas, that's going to be it for our Zeal Zip. We're going to send you guys to yet another break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the week ahead in Lakers sports. You're watching Laker Connections right here on WTOP 10.
Welcome back to Major Discussions.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hey there, I'm Al Roker, class of 76. Yes, way back in 76. Back when the earth was cooling. You're watching WTOP.
Welcome back into season 23, episode number 1 of Laker Connections, your only place for all things Laker sports. I'm Ken Gerard, co-hosted by the legendary Lucas McGarry.
Thank you for all these adjectives. I really appreciate it.
I was trying to look through. I might have turned to a wonderful resource called Google.
Thank you, Google.
There is, yeah, I'm going to think of some new ones for next week. But anyway, we have discussed the past, and now it's time to look ahead at the week ahead. Now, Lucas, kick things off with what do the Laker faithful have to look forward to this week?
Yeah, well, the Laker baseball team is off to a rocky start in the season, going 1-3 in their first 4. They start off the season with a rough weekend trip to Maryland. Friday, it was a 17-9 loss to Washington College. They won an extra inning 5-4 thriller over Widener University the next day. Then on Sunday, to finish out the Maryland exhibition, it was a doubleheader against Salisbury University, in which they lost both games 3-10 and 6-16 respectively. Now this Sunday, March 9th, they make a much shorter trip to Binghamton, New York, to take on the Wilkes University Colonels in a game that the Lakers hope to use as a bounce back for the rough start in Maryland. One of the standout for the Lakers so far has been senior infielder Tyshawn Featherstone, who is hitting .353 with 5 RBIs and a home run in just 4 games played. So rough start, yeah, for the Lakers, but got plenty of time to bounce back.
Absolutely. I mean, they're not even in the conference play yet. I mean, that's where a lot of these spring sports sit right now. You're in those preseason games.
They're basically preseason, but they are technically in season. Yeah.
So they count to your overall, but they don't count to that division record. So, I mean, I still think they're important. Something a lot of these teams do and a lot of people do is overlook these early season, preseason matchups, and I think they're very important. I mean, looking at some of the stats, and the Lakers down in the RBI total, but up in the slug percentage, so I think they got a chance. I mean, again, it's not like it's make or break for them early on, but I still think it gets you a good look. It can show what's to come ahead and what the team can do to improve and move ahead.
Yeah, I think you can say to an certain extent, like, oh, it's early, it's the early part of the season, but you can only say that, like I said, to a certain extent. At some point, you have to be like, hey, these games still do matter. You need to get the wins up early because at the end of the day, there's still wins, and everyone wants to win, right?
How can you not want to win? I mean, what's the beauty of sports if you don't play to win, Lucas? But speaking of winning, the lacrosse season is officially underway, and the Lakers are off to a good start before conference play. The Lakers took a 20-2. Let me say that one more time for the folks at home. 20-2. This is lacrosse we're talking about. Victory over the Russell Sage Gators and moved to 2-1 on the season before conference play. Now, conference play is around the corner, but before then, they take on Nazareth College Golden Flyers at home this Wednesday at 4 p.m. Now, Lucas, give me a preview of what is to come before conference play gets underway for the women's lacrosse team.
I mean, you kind of saw it with that 20-2. I think we're going to see a lot of offense in this game. The Lakers, obviously, they showed that they are ready and willing to score, and they can do that at will if they want to. Now, how good is Sage on defense? You can't really say. It's early in the season. They could be atrocious for all we know if we look back at the season and we say, oh, Oswego scoring 20-2, that makes sense. But for right now, we see 20 goals scored. That is ridiculous no matter who you talk to, especially this early in the season. That is insane team chemistry to start a season, and for the Lakers, I think that is very, very exciting news for them. And to be going into this Nazareth game already 2-1, I think the expectation early on is to win.
See, now I was on the call for this game, and I don't know if I got the stat completely right, but I do know for a fact that there were at least 13 different goal scorers for the Lakers. 13. That's a lot of the roster depth. So I think something they can look forward to in the season is knowing they have a deep bench and they have a lot of roster to work with, Lucas. I think having the ability to look to any other player on the team and having that ability to score with them is extremely important. I think it's a huge confidence boost for the Lakers.
Yeah, if you can have multiple different goal scorers, that makes your team so much more versatile and so much more dangerous. But we're going to take it from one side to the other, transition to the men's side of the lacrosse field. The Oswego men's lacrosse team is off to a tough start this season, dropping their first 2 games in very different fashion. A narrow 11-12 loss to Hartwick College and a 6-15 defeat against Clarkson. Now they face an Alfred University squad coming off a dominant 27-3 win over Alfred State. Can the Lakers bounce back and tighten up defensively against an Alfred offense that just exploded for 27 goals?
Oh, man. 27?
Yeah,
That's nuts.
it's
I thought 20 was crazy. You kidding me?
I saw that when I was doing my research for this, and I just went, oh, that's like all of those stats that we are seeing are all from that game. The shots per game, the assists. They've played 2 games total, and they already have 14 assists. I think 12 of them were from that first game. So really, really ridiculous stats. But yeah, a 27-3 victory, absolutely ridiculous.
Well, for Oswego, it seems going to be a tall task. I mean, I'm not exactly sure if it's just a lack of defense for the other squad or if the Lakers could have the ability to still win this one. They're sitting at 0-2. The big thing is that goal differential, 17 goals for the Lakers, 33, and I know it's all from that one game, but 33 for Alfred. I mean, the shots per game, the assists, it
is a little bit of a boosted stat because of the one game. So I feel like for this game, you can't really look at stats too much. But again, like we said with the last game, 20 goals, 20 goals. 27 goals is 27 goals, so you have to take that into account.
On paper, this game looks like it should be a sweep for the Saxons, but it will be interesting to see. But that is
no
it
doubt.
For our week ahead. And we're going to send you to another quick break. Words are hard, Lucas. We'll send you to another quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time for everybody's favorite segment, the Lakers Showdown. We'll send you to a quick break. We'll see you right back here on WTOP 10.
Dude, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
no.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Yeah, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa.
Did you know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow. Get a closer with that one.
Broadcast news.
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
We'll deep dive into our feelings in our Real Talk segment. Stay tuned because it's about to get real.
Welcome back into season 23, episode number 1 of Laker Connections, your home for everything Laker sports. And Lucas, it is time to welcome back our Laker Showdown moderator, Mr. Michael Neckers. Now, Lucas, why don't you explain to those at home, what is Laker Showdown?
Well, Kenny, Laker Showdown is exactly as it sounds, a showdown between two of best Lakers sports minds, you and me. Our friendly host, Mike, will give us 3 questions, and whatever answer he likes the most for each of those 3 questions will be rewarded a point. It will be a best 2 out of 3, and the winner gets bragging rights until next week when we do this all over again.
Yippee! Mike, take it away.
Well, gentlemen, with playoffs coming to an end and the championships coming here to Oswego, the women's hockey team has had a historically phenomenal season. So I got to ask, of all the women on this roster, who has been the team MVP? Kenny, you're up first.
Who are you going to say? Who are you going to say? Because I need to think of my answer based on.
I know. I don't want to go first on this one.
You could say my answer.
I'm going to say the easy answer, and I'm going to go with Lexi Levy.
Yeah.
I know she doesn't take credit for her team's play. I know they had a lot of block shots. I know she would not appreciate me saying she's the MVP, but I think the amount of times they've had shutouts and low-scoring affairs that have gone their way, I think is a huge credit to Lexi Levy. I think they would not be nearly as good without her in that. I don't think they'd even be in the conversation as a top 1 seed. So
I fully agree with you. No doubt she has been fantastic, but I have to give credit to Mac Hall. She is first in the conference in points with 23. She is first in the conference in goals with 11, and she is 4th in the conference in assists with 12. She is the floor general on the ice for the Lakers. She is so uber important. She has a huge contributor in every single game. So I think if it isn't Lexi Levy, the argument is Mac Hull that she is the most important on the team, maybe over Lexi Levy, depending on who you ask, based on just what style of play you like the most.
Yeah, and I really don't think there was a wrong answer there. Players like Rachel Corbett, Simone Bednarik, very important as well. But Kenny, I'm going to give you this one. Levy has just been so dominant this year.
That's not even,
I'd argue she's the top goalie
both answers
in the
could be
SUNY.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you can guess the next question based off the one I just asked. Who has been the season MVP for the Oswego men's hockey team? Lucas, you're up first this time.
I got to go with Brandon Cohen. I mean, he has had the best season that you could ask for. He was the most clutch player you could ask for in that playoff game. You go down 1-0. What does he do? Rip off 2 goals back to back. He is the SUNYAC leader in goals. He is first in the conference. He has been a absolute force on the ice all year. He can do whatever he wants. He's a sniper. I think he has been the MVP for the Lakers.
I'm going to take Matt McQuaid. I'm going to take the captain. I think he's
Also
been a
a
leader.
fantastic answer.
I think the problem with McQuaid now, he may not show as much on the stat sheet in terms of how many times he's scoring, but he is a late game performer. He can sneak up on you at the very end, and he's one that could tie a game. I think McQuaid inside the locker room, which is something that's extremely important for this team with a lot of young players. I think the ability to come back late in the game. And the way he plays on defense, a lot of people don't pay attention to how defense is played in hockey. I think it's all offense and goals. I think that McQuaid's excellent on the defensive end too, so give him McQuaid.
2 great answers. Again, there's so many answers you could have gone with.
Either answer.
But Lucas, to keep this close, I'm going to go with you, Brandon Cohen, the top scorer for the men's team. And the last question, and yes, before you asked me, I counted. How many hockey pucks are there in the WTOP 10 office right across the hall? And folks, the answer is hidden in here somewhere. Emily, don't take it yet. Kenny, you're up first.
Where's
you
the
can't see it
answer
from where
in
you're
there?
sitting.
Shoot. Is the stack is still in there?
Yeah, 30.
30, okay.
30.
29.
Oh, what? That's so cheap.
I should have said closest answer wins. Emily, take cam 1 over to where our answer's hidden.
What is it?
And Chris, once it's ready, feel free to take it back there. The answer is, let's focus on there.
67 pucks.
67 hockey pucks.
Where are these pucks?
So by 1 puck, back to cam 2, our winner, Kenny Gerard.
Yeah, that's what happens when you sell out.
What do you mean sell out? I'm not Cena. You're Cena. You
How
sold
was
out.
30 and 29 our guesses here, guys?
I don't know.
I have never seen 67 pucks in that office.
You know that top shelf in the corner on the right when you go into the door?
Have pucks?
So many hockey pucks.
I didn't realize how deep it goes back.
I did
thought
not.
it was like a layer in the front.
It's like 3 layers deep.
Listen, I will give myself a little personal shout out here since we do have a little bit of extra time. If you guys got Twitter or Instagram, go look at D3 Hockey News and go give me a vote for D3 Broadcast of the Year. We're in the Sweet 16
You're in the lead right
taking
now.
on Curry College. What's up?
I think you're in the lead on
I am, very narrowly.
Instagram and Twitter.
52 to 48
Yeah,
it's
it's really close.
We got ahead of Plattsburgh last time. Shout out to Liam Sample, great broadcaster. But we are now in the Sweet 16, so we will see how it goes. If you are watching this, come give me a vote on Twitter and Instagram.
Vote for
it counts
Kenny.
on both sides.
Vote Kenny.
Vote Kenny.
Vote Kenny.
Yeah.
Well, Lucas, any closing thoughts? Got another minute and some change here.
I'm really disappointed that I didn't take home the W in this Lakers showdown, but I'll be back next week, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to win next week. It's a guarantee, honestly.
Yeah? Well, that's what happens when you sell out like John Cena, Lucas.
Mike, if I give you $1, can you tell me what the questions are next week? So that's selling out. That's selling out. $1.50? Okay, I can do $1.50.
All right.
Kenny, you're not paying him too.
Oh, crap. We got a bidding war.
You're not John Cena.
250. Do I hear 250? Do I hear 250?
No, you don't hear 250.
Dang it. Yo, Kenny.
3.
How about that lacrosse call we had the other day?
How about that lacrosse call?
What a game. 20-2, as you guys mentioned earlier.
At what point did the goal calls start getting boring?
About 6.
6. I said, score, goal. I'm like, I'm losing.
Shoots, he scores.
Shoots, he scores.
And not for nothing, Kenny, but you did not know the first thing about lacrosse.
Not a thing. Not a thing. I played for like 30 whole seconds of my entire life. But, guys, I think we have reached that time where it's about all the time that we have had tonight. So, we thank you for joining us for the first season. Wow, first season. Wow. First episode of season 23 of Laker
23.
Connections.
I was going to say, come on. We're a legacy show.
Years. We will see you in 1 week for episode number 2 of season 23 of Laker Connections. Have a great night, everybody. Take the bump cam.